Have you ever heard of a military experiment so bizarre, so terrifying, that it sounds like it's ripped straight from a sci-fi or horror movie? We're talking about a US Navy destroyer that allegedly became invisible, teleported hundreds of miles, and left its crew in a state beyond human comprehension. This is the story of the Philadelphia experiment, one of the most enduring and debated conspiracy theories of the 20th century. Was it a top-secret wartime project gone horribly wrong? Or was it one of the most elaborate hoaxes ever conceived? Let's dive in and uncover the truth. The year is 1943. The world is engulfed in World War II, and technological advancement is racing forward at an unprecedented pace. The story goes that at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, the U.S. Navy was working on something truly revolutionary. The goal: to render their warships invisible to enemy radar using a radical new technology based on Einstein's unified field theory. The ship at the center of this alleged test was the destroyer escort, the USS Eldridge. According to the legend, on or around October 28, 1943, the experiment began. Powerful electromagnetic generators aboard the Eldridge were fired up. Witnesses supposedly saw a greenish-blue glow envelop the ship. Then, something incredible happened. The ship vanished, not just from radar screens, but from plain sight. But the story doesn't stop there. As if making a 1,000-ton warship disappear wasn't strange enough, things took an even more dramatic turn. The USS Eldridge allegedly reappeared hundreds of miles away in Norfolk, Virginia, for several minutes. Sailors aboard a merchant marine ship, the SS Andrew, were said to have seen the Eldridge suddenly materialize in the harbor before vanishing again, only to reappear back in the Philadelphia shipyard. The experiment, in a sense, was a success. The ship had become invisible, but the cost to the crew was said to be horrific. When the Eldridge rematerialized in Philadelphia, the scene was reportedly one of pure chaos and horror. Some crew members were said to be fused into the metal bulkheads of the ship, still alive, but trapped. Others had gone completely insane. Some just faded in and out of existence, becoming intangible. A few were said to have spontaneously burst into flames. The survivors were reportedly sworn to secrecy, their minds and bodies forever scarred by what they had experienced. It's a terrifying tale, a perfect blend of military secrecy, advanced science, and paranormal horror. But where did this incredible story even come from? To find the origin, we have to fast forward 12 years to 1955. It all starts with a man named Maurice Gay Jessup, an author who had recently published a book called The Case for the UFO. One day, the U.S. Office of Naval Research, or ONR, received a strange package marked Happy Easter. Inside was a copy of Jessup's book, but it was filled with bizarre, handwritten notes in the margins. The notes, written in 3 different colors of ink, seemed to be a conversation between 3 mysterious individuals who called themselves gypsies. They discussed alien technology, the nature of gravity, and made cryptic references to an experiment that sounded eerily like the story we just told. One of them, identified only as Jemmy, seemed to be the leader. The ONR officers were intrigued, so they contacted Jessup. When Jessup saw the annotated book, he was stunned. The handwriting looked familiar. It matched a series of strange letters he had recently received from a man named Carlos Miguelet, who also went by Carl M. Allen. In these letters, Allen claimed he was a former merchant mariner who had personally witnessed the Philadelphia experiment from the deck of the SS Andrew. He was the one who described the vanishing ship, the teleportation to Norfolk, and the horrific fate of the crew. He warned Jessup to stop investigating UFOs, claiming he was getting too close to a dangerous truth. Jessup, now fascinated by this incredible tale, tried to get more information from Allen. He asked for proof, 4 names of other witnesses, for anything that could corroborate his story. But Allen was elusive. He claimed his memory would need to be recovered through hypnosis, and pointed Jessup towards a Philadelphia newspaper article about the incident that, conveniently, no one could ever find. Despite the lack of evidence, the story was just too compelling to ignore. The ONR, or at least 2 officers within it, took a personal interest. They were so captivated that a Texas-based defense contractor called Vero Manufacturing, which worked with the ONR, actually printed over 100 copies of Jessup's book, complete with all the strange annotations in Allen's letters. This became known as the Vero edition, and it was the primary source that spread the legend of the Philadelphia experiment throughout the UFO and paranormal communities. So, you have a mysterious witness, cryptic notes, and a secret government printing of a UFO book. It's the perfect recipe for a conspiracy theory. But what does the official record say? The U.S. Navy has consistently and categorically denied that the Philadelphia experiment ever took place. They maintain that no such experiment in invisibility or teleportation was ever conducted. They also point out some glaring inconsistencies in Allen's story. For one, the official ship S-log for the USS Eldridge shows that it was nowhere near Philadelphia in October 1943. In fact, it was on its shakedown cruise in the Bahamas. It didn't even arrive in Philadelphia until the logbooks show it docked there for the first time much later. The SS Eldridge, whose logs also show it was on a completely different convoy route at the time and was never in Norfolk with the Eldridge. Furthermore, the scientific principles behind the alleged experiment are, according to mainstream physics, pure fantasy. The idea of using electromagnetic fields to bend light around an object and make it invisible, let alone teleport it, is far beyond any technology that existed in the 1940s, or even today. Albert Einstein's unified field theory was, and remains, a theoretical concept, not a blueprint for a teleportation device. So, if the Navy denies it, the ship's logs contradict it, and the science doesn't support it. What's really going on here? Was Carl Allen telling the truth about something the government is desperately trying to hide? Or was he just making it all up? To unswear that, we need to look closer at Carl Allen himself. Who was this man who single-handedly created one of the greatest modern myths? Researchers and reporters who tried to track him down found a man who was brilliant but deeply eccentric. His own family described him as having a fantastic mind, but also being a master leg puller and a drifter. He had a habit of scribbling notes and annotations in all sorts of books, not just Jessup's. It seemed to be a compulsion for him. Years later, Allen himself would even admit that he had written all of the annotations in Jessup's book himself, using 3 different pens to create the illusion of a conversation. His goal, he said he just wanted to scare the hell out of Jessup. So, it seems the entire story, from the disappearing ship to the sailors fused in steel, originated from the highly imaginative mind of one man. But why did it become so popular? The story of the Philadelphia experiment fed into a growing post-war distrust of government, and a fascination with secret military projects and alien technology. It was the perfect modern folklore for Maurice Jessup, the author who got caught in the middle of it all. The story had a tragic ending. He became obsessed with the experiment and UFOs, but his professional career declined. He lost his publisher and faced personal struggles. In 1959, he was found dead in his car in Florida, a death ruled as suicide. Some in the conspiracy community believe he was silenced for knowing too much, but those closer to him saw a man broken by professional failure and personal despair, perhaps made worse by the bizarre web spun by Carl Allen. So, is there any shred of truth to the story? Some researchers have proposed a more mundane explanation. During the war, the Navy was indeed conducting experiments. One involved the process called degaussing, which used powerful electromagnetic coils wrapped around a ship's hull. The purpose wasn't to make the ship invisible to the eye, but to make it invisible to magnetic sea mines by neutralizing the ship's magnetic signature. To a casual observer, especially at night, the strange equipment and the faint electrical glow it might have produced could certainly look mysterious and secretive. Could Carl Allen have witnessed a degaussing procedure and, with his fantastic mind, embellished it into a tale of teleportation and horror? It's a plausible theory. It connects a real naval practice with the core elements of the myth. In the end, the Philadelphia experiment is a classic case of how a single, compelling story can take on a life of its own. It has everything: a secret government plot, advanced science, a mysterious whistleblower, and a tragic outcome. It has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even major Hollywood movies. But when you strip away the layers of myth and speculation, you're left with the official records that show it never happened, the laws of physics that say it couldn't have happened, and the confession of a known master leg puller, who said he made it all up. The tale of the USS Eldridge isn't a story about a failed physics experiment. It's a fascinating study in the power of storytelling and the birth of a modern legend. What do you think? Is there more to the story that the government is still hiding? Or was it all just a brilliant and elaborate hoax? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of mysteries and conspiracies, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.